Kind of the season, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you let us into your lovely home. You feel me? And
For sure.
look around. We see like Christmas. Got a nice tree and lights and stuff around there. Just the holiday season, and given like we're in a different place, like today to when we first started. You know what I'm saying? As far as everybody, collectively, as far as where we are in life and stuff of that nature. Just for me personally, I want to say like Christmas time, like it's a I ain't gonna lie, like it's a different vibe. I got 4 kids too, and so they all chipper and stuff of that nature. I know we I don't know if we talked about it on camera before, but just everybody say the reason for the season or whatnot, and I know how you feel about it with that. But for me, I don't. Anytime that you bring God or Jesus in a situation, even if let's say whatever you want to say this is not his birthday on Christmas, I don't think what I'm saying that you get any type of negativity by it. But as in with you, I don't. We never really celebrated kind of growing up as far as like my dad didn't let us have any kind of Christmas tree
Nah, yeah,
or
we didn't have nothing.
or nothing like that. We had a big nice plant we put
Nigga, the
presents
most
under.
that we no, nigga, the most we had, my dad would let, like my mom would put a wreath on the house, on the front door.
Right.
That's it.
That's about it.
That is the extent of our decorations
Right. Now,
that we had.
I did like to
And
each
then
his
he would let her
own.
play like the Christmas, like the Temptations. In
Temptation.
my mind.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Like that was like she could
Yeah.
play that, but like outside of that was it.
And that's cool because my dad always brought us up as in like Christmas, quote unquote Christmas gift giving is a lifestyle. It's not a one type of one day a year type of situation. So he instilled that in us. And then me growing up, I was like I was kind of like, oh, I grew up, we ain't gonna have no trees or nothing like that too. But then to each his own. Like I said, if people want to do that, so I don't
It's
see nothing.
commercialism,
I
man.
don't see
Like
nothing wrong with it.
it's like Valentine's Day. Like man, for Valentine's Day, your woman want man chocolates. She wants some type of bracelet from Jared.
Jared, that sounds personal,
You
not
know what I'm
Jared.
saying? Like yeah, Jared or
Oh,
Zales.
bro, that's for a
You know what I'm
birthday.
saying? Like you gotta take her to some restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
Valentine, we
Like no,
getting the
no. Check this
bear.
out. No, check this out.
You know what I'm
You gotta
saying?
get fly. You gotta do all this stuff, and then what do you get? You get the same coochie you had last week.
Oh no, he didn't say that. No, he didn't. Yeah, you do. You get the same
The
one.
same. It ain't new. She
What?
don't let you bring a friend
Of course not.
because that would be for you.
Of course.
That would say, you know what, cause I mess with you, I'm gonna let you. No, because it ain't no, because it's about no, because that would hurt my feelings. So you see what I'm saying? The selfishness about how you would feel if I had a friend come through.
Yeah,
It's about you.
it's
It's
all
not about me.
Yeah.
Because what could you give me for Valentine's Day? You give me a friend now, she ain't gonna do that.
Nah, bro.
You gonna guess what? You gonna get some Victoria's Secret that was paid for with your credit card.
Now you know what they say. You say you gonna get peace in this house. That's what they saying. Yeah, what they saying. Hey, and honestly, like I take that. You feel me? I got a wife and 4 kids, so peace is looking good for me right now. But if I was just a newlywed that kind of like didn't have any, it was just me and her. Like, okay, maybe we can discuss some. But right now though, like for my birthday, like if I can just be left alone, I'm telling you, Vic, like it would be like I would be satisfied. Like I'm not even, you know what I mean? Like just left alone. Like not even
Right, that's
saying I
what I'm
don't
saying.
like y'all, but just like
You don't want no dinner.
No,
Nothing.
it's like, look,
man,
man, like this
just
remind me of
left
an old
alone for a
Patrice O'Neal
second, bro.
joke. He said, men, like, we don't mind being alone. We just don't want to be by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he's like, you could be around. He said, you could be somewhere.
Right,
It's like
right,
you could be
right.
in events.
Right.
You can hang in an event.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't have to be right up under me.
Right.
It's good to know you're around, but you don't necessarily have to be in my
You
face.
ain't gotta be in my face.
But it's like, going back to
Oh,
like
man.
the holiday thing, like the commercialism of it and like the conversation that we had. to your point, I didn't grow up with any of that. Like I said, we had a wreath and maybe like Temptations singing, you know, like CC Winans Christmas or something like that. I don't know, whatever tape or CD my
CC
mom had. Yeah,
Winans.
my mom had all of them.
Speaking of CC, man.
No, yeah, that's a whole day. Yeah, we go. I saw that.
You saw what Marcus put
Yeah,
up?
I saw that too. We gonna talk about that one too. But like,
That man.
so and so like all of this.
Yeah.
I've never done this. This ain't my
Right.
speed.
It's not your wheelhouse.
But
Yeah.
the conversation that I had, I don't care nothing about that. But what we not gonna do, because this don't have nothing to do. We say the reason for this, it don't have nothing to do with the Lord at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I put some sprinkles on the turd, that don't make it chocolate ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's just a piece of shit with some sprinkles on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, your birthday is what, April?
Yeah. 17. Yep.
I can say, you know what, JB? It's just for your birthday in December. Don't mean nothing to you now. It's usually like you wait this long to tell me happy birthday and give me something. But then on top of that, it's actually Vic's birthday. But since we gonna celebrate Vic's birthday, oh JB, we celebrating your birthday too. You're gonna be like, nah, I don't want to celebrate my birthday on Vic's birthday. I want my birthday on my birthday.
Yeah.
Like the conversation me and Vic was having off camera before that. I said it's just like you getting your wife a ring or like some lingerie. And she like, oh baby, I'm gonna put this on for you. Like, oh well, you know what? I got this from my ex, but we broke up. So since I ain't want to let it go to waste though, cause I paid this much for it.
Yeah.
But it'll look good on you, baby. You put it on. I bet you won't get none of that coochie you had last week.
Oh no. None at all.
And it
For a
might
while.
be a while because she don't. Now think about, we got enough sense that we wouldn't do that with our wife. We wouldn't do that with our kids. We don't want that done to us. But then we're going to tell the Lord, we're going to take something that wasn't yours, that was meant to celebrate something else completely, that had a completely different, twisted, sick connotation behind it. And we just gonna put your name on it and you gonna be cool with it. Now think about this. If you really believe,
But you think he
No.
upset about it?
Yes.
Though? You think he upset?
Yes. We talked about this off camera. Because we was talking about something else. Remember Cain and Abel? Think about it. Cain tried to give him what he wanted to give him. What did he do? It's like, nah, bro. I want that. It's unacceptable. Think about it. And one could say God was being too harsh. Cain was giving a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But you got to remember the significance of it. The ground was cursed. After Adam and Eve sinned, God cursed the ground. Everything that Cain gave him came from the ground.
Bro, say you can't do that.
Why?
You can't ruin Christmas.
I'm not ruining it.
You are.
I'm not.
You are
We was talking about Charleston
You slick
White.
R.
We was talking about Charleston White. We was talking about Charleston White. This is what I got.
Yeah.
This is what I got for you. This is the only thing. This is the only move I got left. So, again, the ground was cursed. That's why it was unacceptable. So he didn't accept that from Cain. So he don't want something that is detestable. Even when he talked about fasting, he said, y'all fast the way y'all want to fast. That's not what I declared as a fast. He said, oh, that's why y'all fast don't mean nothing. I believe it's in the book of Isaiah. He said, that's why y'all fast don't mean nothing, because y'all do what y'all want to do. That's not what I told you to do. So you're doing nothing. And you're wondering why when you fast and nothing happens is because you're not doing the fast that I declared.
But isn't that, I think, for like a religious person though? Because like even for me, if I'm like any time that you want to acknowledge or celebrate Jesus, what's wrong with that? I'm just saying, like, if we wanted to pick July 15th to do it, like, oh, but it's not his birthday, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? You're celebrating or acknowledging something that you hold important to you.
Okay,
now, if you make an idol out of the day or something, that's something
And that's
totally
what
different.
most people are doing.
Well, some people do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Most people are doing it. I mean, because real life, like, okay, we all went to church on Christmas, but after we left Breath of Life, like, was the rest of the day spent in worship? We wasn't celebrating him. We was worried about what was up with like who got what, who gave us what. Did we get this gift? I made this list and checked it twice. Who's been naughty or night? Like that's what we was worried about. That's what most people worried about. I don't know too
I
many
can't speak
people.
to that because it
I
wasn't like
don't
that for
know
us.
too many.
Me
No,
growing
it
up.
wasn't for me either.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking in general. But what I'm saying is, most of the people I know, and I guarantee you, we could poll most of the people that from Brother Life when we left Christmas service. Wasn't no going home. Y'all didn't get back in the word. We didn't join hands and thank the Lord for his sacrifice, for sending his only begotten son.
But do you got to though?
No, what I'm saying, but if it's your birthday though, if it's your birthday, you're celebrating the person's birthday that it is.
Right.
It's about you. I'm not worried about what I got if it's your birthday.
Yeah.
Like when I've come to some stuff for you, I wasn't sitting up, man, who gonna buy me a drink, bro? No. Who gonna buy me a drink? It's your birthday. You've come to some stuff for me on my birthday. You bought me a drink on my birthday. You was there with somebody when we was at Stokey's and my other homeboys was there. I didn't buy not one thing. They wouldn't let me. You know you had a curfew at that time, so you didn't go to the next spot. When we got to
Nice
the next spot,
curfew.
I didn't pay to get in.
Yeah.
My homeboy too. They was like, you got. They paid for me to get in. We got into the next spot. I didn't have to buy a drink. I didn't have to buy a cigar.
Now think about this. Think about this. Okay, I'm with you on that. But what about also like when the Lord be pleased that we are in community. We're celebrating. We're kicking it as a family. We're communing. You know what I'm saying, with each other within that. I think you can celebrate Jesus by being in fellowship with each other. You know what I'm saying? Without, you know what I'm saying, necessarily like praying and being like, oh, Lord, we thank you, da, 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 da. But we're like, hey, we're kicking it. This is my homeboy. Vic, I ain't seen you in a while. Oh, you got your little girl, you got your family like that. It's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? We are representing what Jesus will be about by being around each other, kicking it, having fun, you know what I'm saying, in community. Without just being like, you know what I'm saying, hey, Lord, okay, we going to be on our knees praying for the rest of the day. It's like, but no, we going to be, you know what I'm saying, hanging around family, being generous, giving gifts, you know what I'm saying, fellowshipping around food and stuff like that. Like, I think the Lord would be pleased with that.
Okay, so, like, if the Bible is to be believed.
For sure, it should be.
I'm just saying, if it is, when the children of Israel had gotten out of Egypt, and Moses went up to hear from the Lord, and the people was waiting, and they was like, you know what, we want to do some form of worship, because we got delivered from our oppressors. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take all the gold that we got. We're going to melt it down. We're going to make a golden statue to worship. Because we're worshiping God.
Right. The image.
And one could say their heart may have been in the right place. Because they were trying to give some form of worship and be grateful that they got delivered from their oppression, from their slavery, from their pain. They were happy. They were worshiping. They were rejoicing. Nah, a whole hole got opened up, and half of them folks fell up in it. And so now you ask me, is he okay with that?
They were worshiping.
And he probably would not have had a problem if y'all want to make a statue, make a statue, but you put my name on it. And so you go to the Ten Commandments. One of them, or two of them actually. One of them is you're not supposed to bow down before, you know, any false images or whatever, or making false images. But then another one, you're not supposed to take the name of the Lord in vain. And we think that's cussing. No, you're taking his name in vain.
Some people
when you don't put regard or you disregard his name. That's what disregard means. It means you do not consider how he, not about how you feel, how he feels. He said he a jealous God. Don't give me nothing that was somebody else's and tell me it's mine and it wasn't created for me. Because if you study, especially the Old Testament, we don't celebrate Passover. which is something that we should. We don't celebrate the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which we should. We don't celebrate Rosh Hashanah, which is where my name Roche actually comes from, which we should. Oh, it's all types of festivals and we don't do.
Right.
But now
Like
we'll
that's
take.
a leader thing.
No, but no.
Yeah.
They all did that. They all did that.
But I'm saying,
From the least to the greatest.
if you, what I'm saying, what you speaking from is to leaders in general, like pastors, because they, I feel like, push that.
Yeah.
That Jesus was born on this day. And, I mean, Pastor Holloway, the only pastor I've really been under, so I can use him as an example.
Right.
That's every Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, and what you, I don't deny nothing you saying is true at all. I mean, it's false at all.
Yeah.
But that's why I say I don't have a problem with if we're just gonna have a day where we be festive and we give gifts. I don't care nothing about that. That's fine. Let's do that. Like I said, if you was to see up under there, most of us under there, I got. Heck, I wrapped them. They thought somebody else wrapped them. Like, I know how to rap now. I ain't gonna lie, I
Y'all
usually
early. Y'all better than me. Man. Y'all already got presents under there?
Yeah.
Dang.
I got it's about 12 or 15 under there.
My jumps will be under there the 23rd,
No, because
24th.
like I said, I've been working. I've been working 7 days for like a month.
Yeah.
So like when I wrapped them it was around this time last night. I was up because everybody sleep, and I could do it without anybody coming downstairs. And because if I try to do it any other time, it's too many people moving around. Oh, who's it? Like, I ain't got time. But if we being festive, I don't have no problem being festive. But what we not gonna do, I'm not gonna disregard that name. I'm not
disregard it?
I'm not gonna put your name on something that ain't yours. That's no different than like when I was a teacher, we had people that would steal somebody's homework and erase their name off of it and put their name on it. Oh, this is JB homework. I didn't do my homework. Let me take JB paper, erase JB name off and put my name on it. And I'm going to get credit for JB work. So think about it. So think about what the original represented, which didn't have nothing to do with the Lord. And you're going to take that and put his name on all the wickedness and the incest and the rape and the molestation that was associated with where it came from. And you're going to put his name on that? And he like, don't play with me. Don't put my name on that. Ain't got nothing to do with that. And just because you say you want to say, oh, well, no, we're doing this for you. No, everything that's associated with that, you put my name on that. That's like Christian porn. That's an oxymoron. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think that's like I said, I can't necessarily relate because I never, even though I grew up, people, oh, this is Jesus' birthday. I'd never attached myself to that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when my dad, he tried to cultivate a lifestyle of giving, a lifestyle of being generous and stuff like that. So, but at the end of it, it's like people like what you're saying is true because I've heard and I've seen stuff about the origin of it, but then let's say people don't know it. People don't know that. So
does it make it okay because they don't know?
It kind of it's ignorance though.
If we're all married, if you was to cheat on your wife, but you told her, baby, the whole time I was thinking about you, would she be okay with that? Because I was thinking about you. Yeah, I had you on my mind.
But then also now I think you're trying to humanize God thinking and how he would.
So where do we get all of our emotions from?
What you mean?
We get all of our emotions and thought processes from him. And the reason
he don't
why
think like us.
No,
though.
and the reason why he says that his thoughts are not our thoughts and his ways are not our ways is because again, we try to justify stuff that he says is unacceptable. And we don't understand why he says it's unacceptable. So instead of us just saying, okay, you say this is unacceptable, we try to justify it. Well, no, we put your name on it, so it's cool. And that's why he said, no, your ways are not. And again, remember, it's all in. That's why Paul said the Old Testament is our schoolmaster. He told Saul, go into this kingdom, kill everybody and everything. Don't spare nothing. He spared the king. He kept all the gold. He kept all the best sheep and cattle and everything. So when the prophet Samuel came to him, he asked him, "Did you do what God said do?" "Oh yeah, I got rid of everybody." And he said, I hear sheep. I hear sheep in the distance." And Saul was like, "Oh well, we was saved. We was gonna sacrifice them. We was gonna give that as a burnt offering." And
Where does
Samuel
the new
told him,
where the New Testament come
"Obedience
in though?
is better than sacrifice."
Right. But where does the New Testament come into this though? Because
What did Jesus said? He didn't come to abolish the old. He came to fulfill it. And so he said, if you do that, and again, Jesus said, if you're not as righteous as the Pharisees, you're not righteous. Jesus said that in the New Testament. And he said,
to me, New Testament don't start to Acts to me.
he said,
I mean, it's a New Testament according to the Bible.
Everything that the Pharisees was doing, he said, you do it well. He said, the only problem is you all do not have any love in your heart. You don't operate in any love or any grace. But he said, you follow the commandments, but you don't do it with love. But you follow it so much that you'll hurt somebody else and call it because you're trying to say you're trying to follow that.
So somebody that says, "Hey, Rag, I'm celebrating. You know the reason for the season, right? Like we celebrating Jesus, man. Like you said, what would you say to that person?"
And so now at that point, they have opened the door for me to educate them.
But why would you want to educate them though?
Because again, if I know,
I'm saying, what's wrong with like what Vic
Ezekiel-
said? Like you trying to ruin their Christmas?
Ezekiel 3:17,
Okay, what's that say?
it says that we're watchmen. And so my job is, if I see my brother or sister heading toward destruction, it's my job to warn them, to let them know that. Now, if you decide,
Is he heading for destruction if they say that though?
If you decide to keep doing what you're doing after I tell you, then that's on you.
But what are they
That's
doing
between
though?
you and the
What are
Lord.
they doing?
And so now, again, going back to Cain and Abel, you're giving a sacrifice that is not approved by God. So now when I tell you that, you got a choice to make. And it's, again, all throughout the Old Testament, I present before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Choose life. Choose life. But now you can do what you want to do.
But what's the life part though to it though?
Again, so
To be like, hey, yeah,
so now,
but
would you agree that, yes, even though we are under a new covenant, would you agree that all of the 10 commandments are still valid? Are any of the 10 commandments invalid? Even
No.
though we're in a new covenant. So we still not supposed to murder anybody. We still not supposed to commit adultery. We still not supposed to steal.
right.
We still not supposed to cut. So all of those are still valid. So then, taking the Lord's name in vain. And again, that means when you put my name on something, you have disrespected my name. That if it don't go on that, you disrespected my name. So, like, let me ask you something. If somebody calls your dad a murderer, was your dad a murderer to your knowledge? So they disrespected your dad's name. If was your dad, and as far as I know, your dad wasn't homosexual. If they called him that, they disrespected his name.
Okay.
Thief, whatever you want to take anything, put it on. They disrespected his name. So now again, a holiday that was initially celebrating another God, and the acts that were associated, that's what it comes from. Bible also said when something is made crooked, you can't make it straight.
Who said that?
That's in the scripture. When something is already crooked, you can't make it straight.
So you feel like we're gonna get judged for celebrating Christmas?
What I'm saying is, it's not so much the holiday as much as it is that when it's brought to your attention. And the scripture says that we're going to be judged for everything, for all our deeds and all our thoughts. So now that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to spend eternity with the Lord, but you got to answer for that. Especially when it's brought to you.
Answer though, Roche.
Especially when it's brought to you.
If you go to heaven and say, your leader that you put in place to look over me has put this in my life every single year. If you go up there and say that, then what? Then what does the conversation turn to?
But that's just like somebody white saying I grew up in a racist household, so it's okay.
No.
And yes, it is because what somebody's gonna say is you went to school with somebody black. You saw all of these. It was Black History Month. You saw all these movies, Malcolm X, Selma. You saw all this other stuff. You saw George Floyd. You saw Philando Castile. You saw all of this stuff, and morally in your heart, you knew that was wrong. So you can't at some point you can't put that on how you grew up. At some point you got to give account for, okay, from baby to 18, 25, 35, 45, I didn't know no better. But at whatever point somebody brought it to my attention, at that point now I am responsible for. And we did this when we was talking about the cookie pack. Everybody that we know, they was going off of what was on the TV. But now when you click on this podcast and you listen to what we say, and you start researching some of them facts or whatever, you start looking to, at some point it's your responsibility to question it. So now if you go get that cookie pack and you end up with cancer, or you end up having some type of debilitating medical thing, you can't say you didn't know. And you watched our whole hour something thing and we talked about it, and you was like, well, they said on TV, so I'm gonna go with that. And then when you get sick, you can't go, I ain't know. No, you did know. Because you sat up and watched the hour and 45 minutes of me and JB talking about that.
Not if it's going against something that shows. It's people out here.
And so it is your job when you get the information to vet it.
Right.
To check it. To check to see, is it valid? But most of us don't care. Most of us don't care.
Yeah, I like
We
to say,
don't care. It's like we get the information, but it's like, that's too much. I don't want to be the oddball. I don't want to be a weirdo.
And you don't go call out who gave you that other information. Like the information you got. You was on Tab Holloway years. Your direction, I believe, is directly to him. When you had an issue with the Bible, what did you go do?
Yeah,
You
go straight to
went
him. Right.
This is what I'm saying. The information you give me is knowledge to me. But I feel like
Right.
But you know what? You know what?
Yeah.
The first time I had an issue, you know what he told me?
What?
He said, "What the word say?"
Oh, well,
And so at that point, so that let me know, even beyond him, his response is that even if he be wrong, do what the word say do.
Okay.
And so that don't mean I can't follow you because you didn't dig deep enough into a subject, or you were trying to cater to the majority of the congregation, or you didn't want to ruffle too many feathers or whatever. My ultimate responsibility is for me to obey the word. And even the way when Dr. Holloway defines holiness, what does he say? He said that is you obeying the Lord to the best of your ability according to your understanding of the word of God. When he broke it down. Right. So he said, so now if you don't know something, that's different. But once it's brought to your attention, now you're responsible for doing it.
But the information that you have, how am I supposed to deal with that? Because looking at it from an evangelistic point of view, right? Like a lot of people come to Jesus during this time of the season that are not believers and grew up in a household or whatever. So as in, even what Paul was saying, I think in 1 Corinthians 9, like you find common ground with people. So some of them, can be saved. Just like, okay, let's say you know the truth. Okay, this is not true. But if somebody, the reason, whatever for the seed, that's a way to evangelize, to give somebody the gospel. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, at the end of the day, like I hear that what you're saying is true, but at the end, it can be used for the good to actually get somebody to believe in the faith, to believe all that Jesus is and what he stood for.
And the crazy thing is, and I've had several conversations, because especially with us at the post office, like we got a whole bunch of packages because of this season. And so we have conversations in passing. The most pushback that I get is from people that ain't really in church that much.
For sure, yeah.
Because people who either are on the fence or they grew up but they ain't really doing it now, every single one of them is like, dang, you know what? I hate you told me that, but you right. But now people who go to church all the time, that's who fighting me. The people who on the fence is like, you know what? I sure wouldn't want to get no gift that was meant for somebody else. The people on the fence, the heathens supposedly, they're the ones that's like, man, I feel some type of way if she gave me something she got for another nigga. That's what I get. I talk to a believer, it's justification. It's why can't we do that? But again, and what did Paul say in the New Testament? The Old Testament is our schoolmaster. It is there for our example. We are supposed to take the lessons and apply them to today. What is the principle? Not necessarily the method, but what's the principle? What was what was the point of what God was saying to Cain and Abel? He was saying, it's some stuff that I accept, and it's some stuff, even though your heart may be in the right place, I'm not going to accept it just because your heart in the right place. Just because that's what you want to do, I'm not going to take it. Or Saul, if you know better, it don't matter what you was trying to do, what your intention was. And we see that in 2023. All these celebrities that's going down with all these sometimes your intention don't matter. Your actions matter.
So what do you think people are trying to give Jesus then?
I don't think they're trying to give him nothing. I think we put his name on it to make ourselves feel better, to make ourselves in a sense of self-righteousness. So we're trying to act like we're not caught up in the commercialization that everybody else is in, of the gift giving and buying stuff. And so because we put Jesus' name on it, like that's supposed to make it better. But that's no different than when people were killing people and saying, oh, well, we're doing this in the name of the Lord. And that goes against every scripture that's in the Bible.
No, people do it because that's what they were taught.
And that's because that's what they want to do, though.
Out of tradition,
Because
out of a custom.
What I'm saying, though, is like, I used to open a banana from the stem, from the stem. And I saw something, and it was like, if you want to keep from squishing the banana, the actual way, you're supposed to pinch the bottom of it, and it peels like the way you see the monkeys do it in the zoo or whatever, how they peel them down. I've never opened a banana up any other way since then. Yeah, but my whole life, I had been opening it from the stem.
Right.
But what I'm saying, no. But the point that I'm making is that when I knew better, or I saw a better way, I did better. And going back to the New Testament, Paul said, when I was a child, I thought as a child, I reasoned as a child, and I acted as a child. But when I became a man, and it wasn't about age, what he was talking about was about wisdom and understanding.
Right.
When I was in a position where I did not have wisdom and understanding, I thought like somebody who didn't have wisdom and understanding. I acted as somebody who didn't have wisdom and understanding. I moved like somebody who didn't have wisdom and understanding. But when I got wisdom and understanding, I didn't act the way I used to act no more.
But how does that translate to Christmas though?
And so again, so you look around.
For example, like if somebody come up to you and be like, you have the knowledge, like, okay, Jesus is the reason for the season, blah, 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 blah. This is, the giving, the spirit of giving or whatever like that. And you have the knowledge, like, why would you spew that knowledge to them, you know what I'm saying, when they're in a cheerful mood already and they're not asking you for, and you don't have the relationship equity to necessarily, like, if for me and you would be different, or you and Vic would be different, you know what I'm saying? But like somebody that, okay, a coworker, maybe depending on how it goes, but I'm saying just like I have a lot of knowledge myself, but I just don't go off, you got to have wisdom in that, because I'm not going to just, ran on your parade, so to speak, if it's nothing like, because you don't know if they're idolizing the season or anything within that. You just know that what they've been taught and what they grew up on is Jesus is the reason for the season, X, Y, and Z. We're going to decorate, do all this stuff. So you don't necessarily know if they're idolizing. You just know that, as you said, I agree with as far as the capitalism and it's commercialized. It's like it's set up for us to get in debt and to do all this other stuff to go, because I feel bad. That's why depression, I think, is so high this season, because not only just because somebody loved ones may have been lost, but also because I ain't got that much money, because I want to give these people gifts and I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? That's some of the depression too, but it's like, that's wrong. I get that. But as far as being like, Jesus is the reason for the season, the spirit of giving, You know what I'm saying? Jesus is the greatest gift giver, so why not during the season, celebrate being generous and giving gifts? Like I don't see. I get what you're saying, but I don't see anything foundationally wrong with that. Because, like I said, it can be used as a evangelistic tool to really bring somebody into the kingdom, to show somebody, you know what I'm saying, a way that they didn't know, you know what I mean? But if you want to get like down into the crannies of it, it's like, yeah, but you kind of, you don't know if somebody's idolizing something or not, unless you really, you know what I'm saying, involved and really speak to them in depth about the situation.
So again, I've never, like, we're talking about this on here now. We've had these conversations.
Yeah. Well, off
Off
camera.
camera.
Off camera, yeah.
Like when I talked about what I deal with at work, when I have those conversations, I'm not going up. Hey, y'all, guess what? People come up to me.
And they ask you
And
that.
so when they ask me, they open the door.
What they ask you?
So when they open the door, now it's just like when somebody walk into my house, you finna get whatever. It's like if I'm cooking something, you finna smell whatever cooking when you open it. When you step inside, you finna smell whatever cooking. Now, as long as you stay on the other side of that door, you don't know what I got going on in here. But as soon as you cross that threshold, you have opened yourself up for that. And so, like I said the other day, we were coming in from finishing up, and we're talking about the holiday season and people order. And so one of my coworkers made a comment and was talking about all their decorations up and everything like that and what they putting up. And I was like, oh, I said, I didn't decorate mine. I said, I didn't grow up celebrating that. I said, so this is my first year of actually having a house that's decorated that way. I said, all of this is unfamiliar to me. I was like, but it is what it is. And so my coworker made a comment about, oh, well, that's cool. I said, yeah. I said, the only thing, and they asked me like, well, since you didn't grow up, you didn't have no problem. I said, no. I said, it's cool. I said, I don't care nothing about no decorations. I said, the only thing I said was, don't put no crosses up. Don't put no baby Jesuses up. Don't put nothing that got to do with the Lord up on it. Everything else, I don't care about no wreaths, no colors, whatever. Santa Claus, man, put all of it up. I don't care. I said, but do not put nothing to represent the Lord up for it. And so that person was like, now again, this ain't somebody that, whether they, as far as I know, they don't necessarily carry themselves like a believer. And I was like, I ain't never heard nobody say that before. Why you say that? And so they said, why you say that? I said, well, if you know the history of where it came from, and then so before I could finish, she jumped in and was like, oh yeah, I already know. Man, it used to be off the chain back in the day. I said, well, exactly. I said, so now, I said, imagine, I said, I don't know if you got a dude or you married or not. I said, but imagine your husband or your fiance came and they gave you a ring that was meant for somebody else. It had somebody else's name engraved in it. And I said, all they did, I said, they didn't even bother engraving your name over it. They just kind of took a Sharpie and covered it up and then engraved your name on the other side of it. I was like, oh, well, this is for you. But even though it was meant for somebody else who I used to do all this stuff with and who I made all these other plans with. And she said, oh, hell no. She said, I wish a motherfucker would. And she was like, and then after she said that, she said, you know what? She said, man, all my years of living. She older than me. She said, all my years of living. She ain't nobody ever broke it down like that before.
You ruined Christmas for her for no
No,
reason.
Didn't it?
No reason.
Didn't it?
No. And guess what? And this was like last week, but guess what? Ever since then, every day she still come in there with a Santa Claus hat on.
But
I ain't ruined no Christmas.
This is what I think about this,
but
right?
that's perspective.
I get you. This is what I think about that. Like, to me, like, it's a lot of stuff about Christianity out there now that people are just is not believing the church and not, which some of it is true. To me, what you're saying is more kind of giving people that don't have that maturity and that knowledge, perpetrating like more of the stuff is like, why do I need to believe in this? Because they just trying to get us to do this during this season. Have this. Like, to somebody that's immature in the faith or immature in that, like, they can take that and run left with it and be just like the hell with everything. You know what I'm saying? Throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? That's fine, but think about it. Like, in Acts, all Stephen did was give the truth. And he didn't cuss nobody out. All he did was give facts. And they killed him for it.
Yeah.
Because, like we said earlier, hit dogs holler. But what's the motive if you're really trying to live a life that is set apart? Be ye not conformed to this world, meaning shaped or fashioned, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So, like right now, like, and I said this, like me and April joke about this all the time. Like, renewal of the mind is a daily process.
For sure.
But
Definitely.
when we be out, like we sit up, women walk past, and be like, "Hey, baby, you see her?" She be like, "Nigga, you crazy." And that's how I said, "Baby, I renew my mind every day. Cause if I don't renew my mind, it's because the mind is horrible. The mind want to do what the mind want to do.
Yeah.
But again, as even my dad did not break it down like that to me. It was never an understand. So, because my mind growing up is that when I get grown, if my significant other, my kids, my wife, whoever want to do it, we gonna do it, and that's gonna be what it's gonna be. He never tried to give me a reason. It was just, we don't do that. That was it. So after a while, it's like, okay. And then to Vic's point, that was my leader.
Right.
That's what I got. But in my mind, I was like, when I get grown, if that's what my wife or my significant other, my kids want to do that, I'm going to do whatever we going to do. But when I actually began, because I'm a curious person. And then once I get locked into something now, I can't just get the leg of the table. I got to get to the top of the table. Then I get to get the glass of the table. Then I got to get, what type of wood is it? I got to go in. I want to know where it came from. Why do we do this? Where did this come from?
Now, my question is that, or maybe not even a question, but to me, for everything you're saying, it sounds like I said, I don't dispute any of it, but it sounds like it's your conviction, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got a conviction about certain stuff, if I had a conviction about drinking or doing something like that, like, I can tell you why I feel the way I feel, but then I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying, try to persuade you to feel, the same way. You know what I mean? Because that's my conviction. And so it's not a commandment, but it's my conviction. And so in you and your household, you have a right as a leader to do that. And just as in your father did and my father did, it wasn't necessarily anything wrong. But like in our house, though, this is what we gonna do. Not because Jesus made a commandment, you know what I'm saying, but because this is the knowledge and information I have, and this is the conviction I have, and we just gonna roll with that. So it sounds like to me, it's like almost like you trying to put over your convictions on other people.
No.
I don't think that's your intention.
No.
That's just the way it's kind of
if
coming
you
off,
walked
though.
into this house, would you think that I had a conviction? Without me saying anything, looking around.
Right. This what I would think. This when I walk in the house. Rochelle got a wife now.
No, again.
that was my thought, because I know you.
We had
because I know you.
Conversation.
Right, for sure.
And so the concession that was made because she initiated the conversation.
Right. Yeah.
And cause she was doing some research on her own, and was like, I had no idea the history of this, and I'm conflicted. And I said, if it makes you feel any better, sweetie, I don't care nothing about that. We can color whatever. Don't mean nothing. Right. I said, but what we not gonna do. Right. And I said, and before I even said it, I said, if I gave you something for your birthday, whatever, and you liked it, but then you found out that I actually got that for an ex, just be honest. How would you feel about that? And she was like, oh, you got me messed up. Just like my coworker said, if a dude she said the exact same thing. When we think about it, because that's what empathy is, it's like, I don't really know what this is like, but let me try to imagine myself in this situation. If that was me, how would that make me feel? I wouldn't like that too much. Okay, well then, if I got a relationship with the Lord, and that's what relationship says. It's just like if you had a nickname that we called you growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like we called you Pinky or something growing up. And that was cool when we were kids. But now we grown. And everybody, you're JB or you're Jamal. And I say, y'all, Pinky, what's up, nigga? And you like, hey, bro, I know you look. If it's just me and you, like, can you not do that? I had to tell that to my family. Because everybody was, I was Shay. But now, when we at a family function, all my family members, I'm Shay. But when we're in public, everybody says, this is my cousin, this is my nephew, Roche. And I let them know that. So now if you really respect me, you're not going to introduce me as Shay to nobody. Because I'd be damned if I'd be at work or somewhere else and somebody be like, Shay. Nigga, you don't know me like that. And for my family to do that after I tell you, once you find out that's not acceptable.
You can't use that analogy.
No. So again, if you don't know, if one of my smaller cousins who don't know no better do that, I'm not finna flip out. That's a kid. That's a baby. You don't know no better.
Analogy,
but now, somebody that's my dad's age.
what would make your analogy count is if death was upon it if they called you.
Who said something about death?
Because that's what you're talking about.
No, I'm not.
People committing sins versus somebody calling you out your name.
Oh, but again, we don't know the consequences for the little stuff we do. I mean, like think about this now. Think about, it's been times you've been in the mall or something, and the Holy Spirit was directing you to go give a good word to somebody, to go speak to somebody. You don't know what that person was dealing with. Yeah. But whether it be your fear or your reservations, your kids, your wife, your girlfriend, whoever, you got something else to do. You didn't go say nothing. You don't know what that person might have went and jumped off a bridge. Now, you're still living. God didn't strike you down for that. But at some point, you don't have to answer for that. Now, that's all I'm saying. Now, it's not a damnable thing, you're going to hell, but imagine that you're standing in front of the class and you think you wrote a fire paper and your professor is dressing you down in front of him. Now, you didn't fail the class, but that ain't a good feeling. And I don't know none of us know what that looks like. We'd be foolish to try to think of what that looks like, but at the end of the day, none of us want to. That's not a good feeling where you standing in front of your daddy and he telling you where you fell short at. And our goal is to ultimately try to every day to live a life that's if it doesn't make you happy, if it's not something you accept, I don't care what everybody else out there doing because I got a relationship with you. So it ain't about what other people think or what other people make them comfortable. I got a relationship with you. And so because I got a relationship with you, if I know you don't like that, it don't matter what 1,000 million, billion, trillion people doing. I know that you don't like that. It don't matter what I was taught. It don't matter how I was raised. It don't matter all these people told me, what I saw on TV or what I learned in school. Once I find out that you don't like that, if I really mess with you like I say you do, or like I say I do, you know what? Yeah, I see what everybody else doing, but for me, like Joshua said, ask for me in my house.
Right.
Like, I don't care what the rest of y'all do.
Right.
But ask for me in my house. We gonna serve the Lord. And that's all I'm saying. Now, once you walk out these doors, everybody in here, once you walk out these doors, you can do what you want to do. But as long as you up under here, we not finna do that. We not finna disrespect, because I wouldn't disrespect you like that. My kids, they say they don't like something. Oh, my bad. I didn't. You know what? I apologize. I won't say that no more.
Now, when we about to shut down here soon. But like I look at it growing up as we all was part of the same church, and so we know, what it was. It wasn't like we just met during the holiday season. We met every Sunday of every year and Wednesday and whatever in between during the week as well. And so we knew Pastor Holloway was like, he saw it as like a mission, like a missionary tool, because we knew if people gonna come to church, it's gonna be what, on Easter, Thanksgiving, probably Christmas and Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when they come into church, it's like, okay, well, now we're gonna use what the world is commercializing and doing all this. We even help you out. We got this big old Christmas tree in the foyer and we got stuff up there, you know what I'm saying, festive or whatever like that. But we're using that to present somebody the gospel. You know what I'm saying? The real gospel from what we grew up in. Well, we know what the type of message what we heard on Christmas Day. And it wasn't, oh, he was born on this day, but it was the atmosphere of Jesus, the community, and the spirit of giving, period. And so when I look at it like that, I'm like to me, I hear what you're saying, but I'm just like, I think
No, you
that,
don't.
huh?
You don't.
I hear you. No, I do. I do. 'Cause-
No, you
Both of us
don't.
do.
yeah, I do.
agree
I
with
do.
you.
Yeah, I don't.
just
I don't. I
feel
can't
like
dispute
it's
it.
pointless to tell somebody this.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was to ask you why you really a Christian, like legit, why you really a Christian,
Yeah.
and then you gonna have to go into a whole bunch of stuff that they can kind of debunk.
So I remember when me and Rod and DeMarco, Keenan, Eric, we used to go out, and AK would send us out. Shout out to Pastor King, and we was all
Mr.
over.
King.
Yeah, we would be all over North Memphis, Raleigh, Fraser. The overwhelming thing that we got, and you mentioned Easter, you mentioned Christmas. The overwhelming.
Don't forget
thing
Mother's
that we
Day.
got, well, Mother's Day wasn't one
Well,
that
you
they
know,
would bring
everybody
up.
be at that Jenna
No,
Mother's Day.
I was saying that, but
now
I
I
was
feel
saying
you,
the
though.
overwhelming thing that we got from people who were non-believers, and this is the pre-Hebrew Israelite. This was the pre-woke stuff, but this is when, because most of that stuff is people from our generation.
Yeah.
The thing that we got is that y'all say y'all believe this, but y'all still celebrate that. And these are people that said they were atheists. These were people that said that they were agnostic. These were people that said that my grandmother forced me to go to church, but then, like, once I started researching, I ain't believe that shit. That's what they were saying. And they were saying, y'all claim y'all Christians, but y'all still celebrate. And y'all don't know, y'all celebrate Valentine's Day, and y'all don't know they was raping little kids and stuff like that on it. Yeah. Like this. And so now again, I'm hearing this in my early 20s, so now it's making me go back and look at it. What are they really saying? Is it valid? I'm not finna defend it. You said I got something on my face. Guess what? Paul said, I'm like a man who looks in the mirror in the morning, but then as soon as I step away from the mirror, I forget what I look like. And the word is the mirror that reminds me of what I look like. So guess what? I can't see my face right now. If you said I got something on my beard, I'd be a fool to argue with you. I can't see my beard. Let me first stop and go look in the mirror and see if I got something in my beard. I'm not finna argue with you. I'm not finna try to justify. JB, you like, no, let me go look. And so when those people were saying that to Rod and me, because a lot of times it'd be the Rod and me or DeMarco and me or DeMarco and Rod, like, but we just would listen. And then we go back and re-research. We go back and we talk to Pastor Moss. We go back and we talk to Pastor, and the same thing like I told Vic, what the word say? What'd you research? What'd you find out? So I understood the catering or the pandering per se, because to your point, we don't want to scare people off. But to the individual, it's like basically what I was being told by my leadership is for the individual, once you know better, you got to do better. Once you get a certain understanding, you got to move this way. And so then when the door opens up and somebody comes to you on the one-on-one, or they ask you, now I will never go to Breath of Life or wherever I'm at. I'll never go to my job. I'll never walk up and down these streets doing that. But if somebody asks me like, Oh, I see you got your Christmas decorations at. Where's the baby Jesus at? Guess what? You open the door up.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Now,
there,
and
yes.
that
yeah, right
is
there.
what I'm saying. That's what
That
happened
what you
to
getting.
me at work. I don't go up in my job telling people, "Oh, y'all got." I don't do that. We're having this conversation now. I don't go do that. When that door opens up, I do that. But guess what? I had a situation happen to me today at work, and the only reason it happened because this coworker was telling me about a situation she had with a minister she was dating. And she said the reason that they broke off their engagement was because when she stopped having sex with him, he broke the engagement off because he couldn't do it. And I was like, well, hold up. I was like, you said he was a minister? And she was like, yeah. I said, I'm not trying to be funny. I was like, but if he claimed to be a minister, he shouldn't have been having sex with you anyway. Y'all weren't married. Now keep in mind, and now she said she believe it, but she doing her thing. And when I said that, she was like, "Oh," she said, "I can't stand you, Roche." She said, "But you know what? I know the Lord sent you." She said, "I didn't want to hear it, but that's the truth." She said, "I've been fighting with that." Now I didn't go into work. If you're sleeping with somebody, that's a one-on-one. Like when that door opened up, I did, and we had another conversation similar today. And I just brought that up to say, when the door opens, we'll have that conversation. But if it don't, my business is my business. Your business is your business. If you ask me about it, or if Holy Spirit directs me, then yeah, we'll have that conversation. And generally when I do, people are receptive. But like I've shared with y'all, the reason why I'm not in no hurry, I ain't trying to be in nobody's pulpit. I'm not trying to be ahead of nobody, is because when you do this, now if it's my job to do this, and again, the information out there, people will look it up and see the same information and still try to justify it. And that would piss me the hell off. Because I got a revelation and an understanding. I give it to you, go back, you verify it, and you say, you know what? Well, I'm still going to do this because this is, and I don't want to, and that's just like somebody, again, my name is Roche, and you call me what you hear my mom and dad call me. That's not for you to do that. And that's not for you to bring everybody else in. I'd appreciate it. I'm not a Muslim. But if I knew somebody like Muhammad Ali, I'm not going to keep calling him Cassius Clay because that's what I knew. Right. And I know your mom and dad. If you want to be called Cassius Clay, or Muhammad Ali, and that's where you're at, you know what? Because I respect you as a man, I ain't got to be no Muslim. If you want to be Muhammad Ali, your name Muhammad Ali. And when we refer to him,
Clay, I'm gonna call him.
Mama called him Clay.
And what happened? He got his ass whooped too. But again, he didn't respect him and we talking about doing stuff the way the Lord do it. He was the king of that. Now Jesus would be where they would be at, but he wasn't doing what they was doing. He was in the quote unquote club preaching. But he was like the Pharisees tripping. He in the club. Y'all don't even realize all these folks is in here listening to me coming out the club and turn the world upside down.
Yeah. Now, just for me, like I didn't see you. Pretty much sound like you grew up like how I grew up. And so, when you saying that you know better, that you got this information, but to me, it seemed like you. To me, it wasn't. It was never ever a shift other than you just have new knowledge, because even for me, like. It was like I knew that some of that information, not in depth like you know it, but nothing changed for me because I didn't grow up in the church. I didn't grow up in a household that like idolized that this was Jesus' birthday. It was just as far as, are you celebrating something if you go to church on Christmas? Are you celebrating Christmas because you go to church on Christmas? Are you celebrating Christmas because you put up a tree or that you got lights?
And again, it's not that. It's when you put the name on it. And again, the Bible says that things are first natural then spiritual. We've all seen the movie American Gangster. When Denzel went and got Cuba Gooding Jr. in the club and was talking to him. And he was like, you can sell whatever you want to sell. I don't care. Don't put the name Blue Magic on it. He said, that's my brand. He said, I stand behind it. He said, just like Pepsi. He said, that is my brand. He said, because when you hear that, it means this, and this is what's associated with that. And he said, you're not selling that. So don't put my name on what you're selling because you're selling an inferior product. I don't want to be associated with that. And he said, if you continue to do it, we got a problem. So now everything you did before we had this conversation, we good. That's water under the bridge. That didn't even happen. He said, but after this conversation, if you keep continuing to use my name on it, we got a problem.
Right.
And so it was the same thing going back to Cain and Abel. He told Cain, come back, give me a sacrifice that I approve of. And he even told him, get out your feelings, because if you stay in your feelings, you're going to commit a sin that you can't come back from. Get out your feelings, do what I said do, and give me something that I approve of. And Cain could not get out his feelings because it was all about what I want to do and what I feel, my hard labor and my work, all about all it. Well, this is what I want to do. How come no, because this is what I accept. So don't argue, just do it. Yeah. And instead of us being the example and the torchbearer and saying, let people follow my example, we're too busy trying to fit in. Yeah, like, and in the New Testament, it said that you are the salt of the world. You are a city on the hill which cannot be hid. We're not supposed to fit in. We're supposed to set the tone. We're too busy trying to fit in and not trying to offend instead of trying to set the tone. We are too busy trying to be the thermometer instead of being a thermostat. And we all know all a thermometer does is tell the temperature. A thermostat sets the temperature. And there's too many believers trying to be a thermometer instead of being a thermostat. Yeah, and you a dad. What you say when somebody touches thermostat? Man, who touched my thermostat?
Yeah, like I said, it sounds like more of a conviction than anything. So, but like I said, I already knew that you believe how you did on that. But I think I got more context, and the whole thing, because I think two things can be true. Like I believe the knowledge, I can't dispute any of the other knowledge and the history of it. But then also, you know what I'm saying, that I don't see anything wrong if somebody does necessarily believe that. But if we have a deeper conversation about it, then I would spew out that knowledge and information. But just on the surface of it, though, to me, it's like, if I don't feel like I don't need to go to the club as a married man or something like that, because not only just because I know myself, I know if I get involved or be out in certain areas, I'm a grown heterosexual man. Like certain stuff may happen, but somebody else like Vic can still do that and be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be like, well, hey man, you probably shouldn't be doing this, man. I'd be like, he looking at me like, bro, like, I hear you, like that's your thing. Like that ain't mine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't try to force me to do kind of what you do. So
but in that situation, would you agree that if you was in a position of leadership, you shouldn't be doing that with everybody else?
If I was in a position of leadership, what you mean?
If you was Pastor JB.
Oh, be out in the club like that?
Could you be in the shake with the regular folks?
Not the shake.
I'm saying. But again, because you understand.
Right.
And the scripture says is that you shouldn't desire to be a teacher because you receive a harsher judgment. Yeah. In other words, you got to live your life on a level that's set apart.
Above reproach.
Yeah. But now the call to every believer is we are supposed to work out our own soul salvation. We are supposed to study our self-approved, a workman to God first, not to people. Every believer, don't matter your position, is supposed to study to show themselves approved to God first. And that's the problem. We're too busy focused on what everybody else is doing. Well, my leader's doing this. Or no, as an individual, where do you draw the line at? And so again, it's small stuff like this. Think about it. How many folks, believers that we know that were so quick to jump and take the cookie pack? Hey. But what I'm saying is that ain't just about what's on TV, because you don't have no lines nowhere else. You don't have you don't believe nowhere else. Right. It's all about what somebody told me, what I heard, what my leader said, what they say on the TV, what the president said, what Congress saying. It ain't about no personal relationship, understanding.
But it's also based on their convictions too, because we got family members I know that took it, and I told them pretty much what I know, what I do, but at the end they got to work out their own salvation, work out their own knowledge, or do whatever they feel comfortable with.
I'm not gonna call no names out, but my family members that did, they have a pharisaical conviction. They have a conviction about what they want to be convicted about.
Yeah.
It's not about everything. You regard people over here, but you talk to your kids, your grown kids, like.
Yeah.
So you're convicted over here. You talk to a stranger with respect, but you talk to your adult children like they nobody. That ain't biblical. That ain't godly. So do you really believe the scripture, or you pick and choose?
Yeah.
And that's why you can fall for the back.
That's a whole nother
I'm
thing
saying
right
no,
there.
like I said, we could go like.
Yeah. Not tonight though. Vic, you got anything else you want to add to that?
Roche ruining Christmas.
Hey, bro, like I ain't gonna lie to you, like
Ruin Christmas.
you know what I'm saying.
Man,
it could be perceived that way, but I hear you.
On
need-
the cover photo, make Roche
Do
a
you-
Grinch.
Make him the Grinch. Oh, that would be
need
that would
to
be dope.
get the camera over there on the other side of the tree to see what's up under the tree? Because I would.
You got some pretty, got some pretty,
Let me see how many.
got some pretty gifts over there,
There's
man.
a lot of- and I wrap them.
Look at- He doing better than me, Vic, man. I ain't my junk dry right now.
Hey, it's just a tree.
That tree just dry.
So I counted. It's 16 gifts up under there. 15 of them I wrapped and put up under there. And I say 15, but it's actually it's probably more like 21 because there's a couple of wrapping. No, because there's a couple of them that I got multiple. No, and then I take that
Doing
back.
us up, man. He trying to show us up,
I
Vic.
take that back because actually one of the things I got from my wife has got like, it's a box, but it's got like 5 different things in it. So what I'm saying is I don't mind being festive.
Right.
My thing
You
is
just ain't got.
I'm not finna put the
You got
Lord's
Jesus.
name.
You ain't got Jesus' face on that.
You
Job.
might see a golden calf in here somewhere. I bet you won't nobody be bowing down praying to that. Hold on. It's just a gold calf that I can sell. You know what I'm saying, for 100,000. I'm not finna be calling that God or nothing. I'm not finna put His name on it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I don't have no problem with no tree, no wreaths, no carols. I be at work. They be tripping off me at work when I be putting my mail up at work before we leave out the station. I be up in there, John, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Like, I be in there having a good time. You know what I'm saying? I be breaking out silver bells. Like, I be.
Because from now on, I'm on everybody's ass, dude. What
Tell
y'all doing?
I know, right?
What I'm saying is.
What you got this up for?
Right. What I'm saying is I don't have no problem being festive, but it's just like with Columbus Day. They don't call it Columbus Day anymore. But like, and we
just take it off because that's what they give us off.
You know what I'm saying, right? But like, we
I don't care what. I don't know what happened.
We don't even acknowledge it no more because once we got an understanding of everything that we did. Now, keep in mind, this don't have nothing to do with God. This is about a regular man who did some raping and pillaging and murdering, which is the same stuff that happened in the original winter solstice celebration festival of the sun god, which is what it's all about. And it was instituted. It was instituted.
But we took it and made it about Jesus.
No, we didn't. No. We didn't. We didn't actually. And that's the other thing. We
I don't
didn't
know
actually
how-
do it.
yeah.
It was actually instituted so that people would not be fighting about it. It's called assimilation. If you can't beat them, join them. And because so many people were converting to Christianity to make the people who were pagans not feel like they were left out, it's like you can still keep your festival and celebrate. We just gonna add some stuff to it to make them feel good. But y'all can still celebrate y'all festival where y'all are having y'all sex orgies and doing all of that. We just gonna call it this and everything. So now everybody's happy. That's the origin of it. He ain't got nothing to do with that.
No.
And so what I'm saying is, and that's fine. I just said, you know what? Because I got a relationship I'm not finna do my daddy like that. Cause I got too much love and respect for him. I'm not finna do you like that. Now I don't mind giving out gifts. I don't mind but I'm not finna put your name on it. It's other days and stuff that you say that I'm gonna do that to celebrate and acknowledge you.
Right.
But I'm not finna put your name that was associated with something else because I know you don't accept that.
I'm letting y'all know now. If it's a baby Jesus in y'all done kicking it up.
Hey, he gonna put that jet up tomorrow with the lights up.
Whole barn.
He gonna put the whole thing up.
And JB and I will be bailing Crown out of jail for kicking out. We sorry in advance, our Caucasian watchers, for Crown kicking y'all baby Jesus displays over.
Hey, y'all, until next time, continue with that executive mindset.
And most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow.